Welcome to the Urban Debate on Magic Bricks Now. I'm Faye D'Souza. Let's take a look at the top headlines at this hour. The Maharashtra government's innovative helmet rule backfires. Petrol pump unions across the state threaten to go on strike from the 1st of August if they're made to enforce the no helmet, no petrol rule. In Delhi, the auto taxi union strike against Ola and Uber enters day 3. The blame game continues. Now, Union Transport Minister Nitin Gadkari writes a letter to the union squarely blaming the Aam Aadmi Party government for the mess. More trouble for the Mumbai civic body BMC. The opposition now demands a CBI or a CAG probe into the 352 crore rupee BMC road scam. Well, our big focus tonight is the no helmet, no petrol rule in Maharashtra. What's being called an innovative plan to impose the helmet rule on motorists in the state. The state government is proposing a rule which will bar all petrol pumps from selling any fuel to bikers who show up without helmets. The rule is set to roll out on the 1st of August and has received flack from petrol pump unions across the state. We asked Mumbaikars and Punekars if the no helmet, no petrol rule is deterrent enough to ensure that motorists will begin wearing their helmets. Listen in.
Safety for the people only. The government has taken this some rule for the safety purpose only.
क्योंकि हेलमेट तो बिना ही चाहिए. बिना हेलमेट से क्योंकि पब्लिक तुम रोड पे गाड़ी नहीं चला सकता है. उसका मतलब पेट्रोल पंप पे तुमने हेलमेट नहीं लिया तो मतलब रोड पे भी तुम बिना हेलमेट में यूज़ करो.
मेरे लिए बोलता अच्छे करने के लिए, किधर जाएंगे एक्सीडेंट हो जाएगा तो उसके लिए मेरे लिए अच्छा होता है. बात तो बराबर बोला मैंने.
गलत किए. अगर किसी के पास हेलमेट नहीं रहेगा तो उसको पेट्रोल नहीं मिलेगा. गलत है ना ये.
Obviously it is justified because this is our safety. This is because for our safety government is doing something which is good for the public, and if we are not obeying the rules it is our bad only. So we have to wear helmets. Bike needs petrol and we need helmet.
हेलमेट पहना तो अच्छी बात है. एक्सीडेंट होता तो बच सकते कदाचित. सबने ये रूल फॉलो करना तो चाहिए.
क्योंकि अगर ज़रूरी थोड़ी ना कि हेलमेट लेके पेट्रोल ले सकते हैं. हेलमेट अटका हुआ है, ज़रूरी थोड़ी ना कि पहनना ही चाहिए हेलमेट. अगर बाइक पे रखा हुआ है फिर भी पेट्रोल देना चाहिए. ऐसा ज़रूरी नहीं कि हेलमेट पहना हुआ रहेगा तो ही पेट्रोल देने का.
Some ways they are right. They are doing good thing for people like who ride bikes like in a rough manner. But we don't ride like that.
Now there is a strict law with regards to wearing seat belts. How many people really follow that? People don't follow that. The first thing that government should do is make helmet compulsory to all the cops in the city. Set an example. Create awareness about road accidents and helmets, which makes a lot of sense. Instead of making something compulsory, it's not going to affect anybody and anything.
तो जो लॉ बना है उसके दरमियान मतलब अगर आपके पास हेलमेट हो फिर भी आप पेट्रोल मिल सकते वो बहुत गलत है. क्योंकि बहुत लोगों के पास हेलमेट नहीं होता और उनको जल्दी जाना पड़ता है. तो अगर उनको ऐसा लॉ के थ्रू पेट्रोल नहीं दिया जाएगा तो वो बहुत नाइंसाफ़ी होगी.
ऐसे कंपल्शन नहीं कर सकते क्योंकि कोई भी ऐसे किराए पे लेंगे और पेट्रोल भरेंगे और बाद में वापस दे देंगे. लेकिन अपनी हेल्थ के लिए तो हेलमेट कंपल्सरी चाहिए, सबको चाहिए.
आई डोंट एग्री बिकॉज आई डोंट हैव द प्रैक्टिस एंड आई स्टार्टेड विद द हेलमेट बट देन आई कुडंट सी both ways, and even I cannot hear something horns and all, so it is not possible for me. I tried my best but I can't. I am not comfortable with it.
Actually government is doing the helmet compulsion. That is wrong. Actually people should do it compulsory for themselves. People should buy the helmet, people should wear the helmet, and it's for the people's benefit only.
I think it should be made because I was wearing helmet previously, but then now I don't know what reasons I make, but then I don't wear it. I've read about the no helmet, no petrol rule, and I think it should be implemented in Maharashtra.
Well, after all of those voices, I think it's very important to put down, first of all, that nobody is arguing whether or not helmets should be made compulsory. Helmets are already compulsory in the state of Maharashtra. The question we're asking is denying petrol at the petrol stations the way to enforce that rule? Let's take another example of what happened a couple of weeks after the Kolkata police issued a similar notification saying no petrol will be sold to motorcyclists who are not wearing helmets in petrol pumps. A Trinamool Congress leader, Saurav Basu, allegedly threatened to burn down a petrol pump and threatened an employee when he was denied fuel for not wearing a helmet. Listen to this conversation.
বলে দিবে সৌরভ বোস বলে দিবে ভেঙে দিবে কাল বাবার ক্ষমতায় রুখে দেখবে হ্যাঁ বলে দিও আমার নাম করে বলছি
বলছি হেলমেটটা বাদ দিয়ে তো
বললাম তো ওসব কথা কেন বলছো তুমি আমার বেশি আইন দেখাচ্ছ নাকি আমরা আইন তৈরি কর তুমি কি আইন দেখাবো আমাকে মেয়ার সে তুমি দেখাও কলম করে আমি মেয়ার দেখাইনি কাউকে বললে আমাকে ধরবে তোমাকে ধরবে না তোমার কি প্রবলেম
ধীরে ধীরে হয়
আমাকে ধরলে আমি বুঝে নেবো আমাকে বেশি মাথা করে করো না এরকম ভাবে কাজ করো সেরকম করলে বেশি মাথা করে করবে না তাদের লাও
And that's the risk we're running as the Maharashtra government prepares to enforce its new rule of no helmet, no patrol starting the 1st of August. In the urban debate tonight, we ask, should petrol pumps be forced to enforce the no helmet, no petrol rule? Will this new rule encourage bikers to wear helmets all the time? Join us and tweet out your opinion. Hashtag no helmet, no patrol. That Twitter poll is open right now. On the urban debate, we'll tell you what the results are at the end of the show. Also, we'll have a phone number that will be available to you right through the show at the bottom of your screen, where you can call us and you can give us your opinion. If you think, first of all, should petrol stations be forced to enforce a rule by the government? Secondly, will this actually solve the problem? Will bikers start wearing their helmets every day, all the time, with this new rule? Joining me in the studio this evening, Avadut Wagh of the BJP, he's a spokesperson of the party. Ravi Shinde is the president of Petrol Dealers Association in Mumbai. Remember, the Petrol Dealers Association have threatened to go on strike because they say it's not their responsibility to enforce these rules. Sumantra Barua is the associate editor of the Auto Car. And Samir Samant is a citizen who joins us right now. I understand he's also an avid biker, so he'll tell us whether or not he wears a helmet when he goes out. I'm going to start by talking to Ravi Shinde. Ravi Shinde, starting the 1st of August, you're going to have to enforce this rule in your petrol stations. Are you prepared? Are you ready? Can it be done?
I'm not ready, and moreover, it cannot be done without the police help. As you, the opening statement of yours that it is going to be an innovative thing to do in Mumbai, and that was the spirit by which we acceded to the Joint Commissioner's initiative that let us, Ravi, start a pilot project by which we will try and see the platform of a petrol pump being used by our policemen, because a two-wheeler has to come to a petrol pump for his fill, and these two-wheelers who are not wearing helmet, for the 1st August to 15th August, we will plead with them, we will tell them that you have to wear a helmet. Next time when you come to the petrol pump, you may not get petrol. Moreover, you would be challaned. That was the whole scheme of things. The project would have gone for 15 days initially with the 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. And then with the success of that, we would review the whole situation and carry on henceforth. So we agreed that there is some down the line a social responsibility, and we are in a position to help police department do their job. 1939, this law is there in a Motor Vehicle Act, but somehow it has been eluding the enforcement. And we thought that we could play a proactive role in getting this
Mr.
law
Shinde,
through the help of the police department.
Mr. Shinde, are you still threatening to go on strike on Monday? Are you still threatening to go on strike on Monday?
Well, this is not the strike call at all. What we have done is out of fear. Fear that tomorrow if I give petrol, the authorities will pounce on me. If I don't give petrol, the miscreants or the people who are not wearing a helmet, they will beat my boy up. So that is the reason we are doing it on the course of being afraid that to do a business of a petrol pump and enforce it by which I am not in a position by authority, by any legal process to make my pump attendant a policeman overnight.
Mr. Shinde, also tell me this, when you say that you are doing it out of fear, what will this be? Will you close all petrol pumps on the 1st of August? What is the action that your association is planning on taking?
From 1st August, when the whole GR comes into force, on the same day we are not going to buy petrol or diesel, and within 24 to 48 hours, petrol pumps across Maharashtra will start going dry. Because this pilot project was only for Mumbai or 223 petrol pumps, somehow the GR doesn't say so. It says entire Maharashtra. Maharashtra is so rattled by this decision of the minister and the GR that they absolutely do not want to do any business under this threat.
All right, so this is the response that we're getting for petrol stations who are saying that it's not their responsibility to enforce a rule. Starting the 1st of August, petrol stations will stop buying fuel. They'll run out of fuel within 24 hours or 48 hours, after which all of Maharashtra will effectively run out of fuel. This is what the Chief Minister, reports suggest that the Chief Minister, of course, mentioned this in the Vidhan Sabha today. He said the rule is being made with good intention. He also said that he will sit down with the Maharashtra Transport Minister, Mr. Raute, who took the decision with good intention. He said, as the rule to wear helmets is mandatory, it's not leading any results. We will sit down and we will talk about it. That is Devendra Fadnavis, the Chief Minister of Maharashtra. I want to ask Mr. Avadhut Wagh, this is a fair comment coming in from the Petrol Dealers Union. It is not their responsibility. It's the police's responsibility to enforce the rule. How can we expect the people who stand at petrol stations, who actually deal with the customers every day, to start enforcing rules like policemen?
I don't think so. They are trying to blackmail the government. Basically, when you are doing any business, there are professional hazards. For example, a rationing shop person, he is supposed to see the ration card and then only to give the grains, etc. If suppose somebody comes without ration card and tries to threaten the rationing shop owner, is he asking for police bandobast over there? The answer is no. Basically, when government is giving you one particular license or permission to operate certain commodities, and petrol and diesel is one of such commodities. Most of the petrol pumps in Bombay or outside Bombay, most of them are on DP plan pass places, where the places are also either given to them at cheap rate or on very less lease. Now they are getting a very secured business. The petrol pump people don't have to do any marketing. The customer comes, pay in cash, there is no credit facility, nothing, and they are earning good money. I am not against that, they should go on earning. But at the same time, as a businessman, see, they are not doing any public charity. It is a business. And while doing business, every businessman takes risk. Whether it is a goldsmith or whether it is anybody, everybody is taking risk, and they should make their own arrangement and follow the path of government, what government has said. It is ultimately for the betterment of the people, the youngsters, who there are so many incidences, 80% of the fatal incidences.
Ravi Shinde responds to that. It's your moral responsibility as someone who has a petrol station to enforce this rule. You cannot say it can't be done. Here we have Avadhut Wagh actually saying that you are holding the government to ransom. It's a threat.
It's very simple to say that when you are sitting on the other side, if you are doing a business, if the gentleman had a petrol pump, he would know that at a very small
I'm not fortunate like you. I'm not fortunate like you.
Flashpoint, you are talking on phone. You are talking on phone and you are trying to take a fill. Our boy stops him and there is a maramari. There are incidents like you just mentioned in a Calcutta. The politician was trying to burn the petrol pump because he was not giving petrol because he did not have a helmet. These instances are almost everyday affair. People come with forged notes. People pick up a fight on purpose. People try to give a false credit cards and run away. These are instances which are everyday. Do you think we want to increase that multifold by agreeing to this law, which just cannot be done by a person who can just say lift 20 kilograms and you tell him no, you have to lift 80 kilograms whether you like it or not. So we are not agreeing to that at all.
We are ready to run all your petrol pumps without any problem. You please allow us. I will put every person of my Bharatiya Janata Party to run your petrol pump. You allow us.
Are you talking about the government taking over the petrol pumps or the BJP taking over the petrol pumps?
We are not afraid of. Why you should be afraid of? You are running a business. Why you should afraid of?
No, hang on. Abdul, are you recommending that the government take over and take over all petrol pumps which are private, or are you saying that the BJP will ban all the petrol pumps?
As a part of the society, we should go as per the government's rules and regulations. Especially, this is a semi-organization where most of the things depends upon the government. You are taking petrol from refinery. Now, when you stop taking petrol, the refinery is a continuous production. It cannot be closed. It has to produce diesel and petrol on 24/7. So what is going to happen with the petrol? So the nation is going to make a lot of wastage of diesel and petrol. You have to be courageous. You have to face it. It is for the betterment of you. If you have got a son, if you have got a younger brother, you have to think about that, not only about your business. Now what is the problem is every individual section of the society thinks of himself. The bureaucrats thinks about himself. The petrol dealers thinks about himself. The automobile people think about himself. Let us talk about the entire society. We are a part of the entire society. At one way, we are the owner of the. At one way, we are the owner of the petrol pump. At other way, we are also commuters.
Where is the moral responsibility of the people on those bikes to be more responsible? Where is the moral responsibility of the police officers who are standing on the road to be more responsible? Why is the moral responsibility in this case only on the petrol pump dealers? Abdul.
See, basically, there are so many things. I understand the self-imposement and self-patience are always better. Everybody should do that. But in a society, it doesn't happen. That is why police and government plays role. So the idea of the government is not to impose certain things. If the people are following the rules and regulations, it is always better. Okay. I just want to remind you that as per the Motor Vehicle Act, the PUC is also very important. Unless you have got a valid PUC, you are not supposed to give diesel and petrol. Now, this particular thing is also there. Tell me how many incidences happened on petrol pump that the petrol pump owner stopped anybody giving petrol and diesel, and there is a maramari on the petrol pump with a petrol pump owner. So it won't happen. Maharashtra is not like West Bengal. Maharashtra is not like Bihar. Maharashtra is not like other states. Maharashtra is Maharashtra. We are very law-abiding people.
Are petrol pumps actually checking? Let me bring in the other two voices here. I want to ask Sameer, as a citizen, and I know that you ride a motorcycle, Sameer, how often are you checked at petrol stations to see whether or not you have your PUC certificate? And do you actually believe that if this is enforced in its purest form, that bikers will start wearing helmets all the time?
Well, Faye, in 20 years of driving or riding, I've never been asked for a PUC.
Okay.
But if you ask me about
Not even by the police?
By the police, yes.
But not at the petrol station.
Not at a petrol station yet. But if you ask me about wearing a helmet, I think, like Mr. Wagh rightly said, is also the moral responsibility of the bikers.
No, see, let's be honest. Nobody is arguing whether or not helmets are necessary. In fact, I think we should take it a step further in this state. Pillion riders don't wear helmets. Little children sitting on the petrol tank in front are not wearing helmets. It's actually ridiculous that there is only one person on that motorcycle wearing a helmet when everybody's traveling at the same speed and taking the same risk. But I want to know if this is the way to solve the problem. Is no fuel, no helmet the way to solve the problem?
It is one of the ways, Faye. I think it's one of the ways. I think it's the most obvious way because you have to go to a petrol pump to fill your fuel, right? So it's the most obvious solution for it. It's kind of a preventive measure. The police are a more detective measure in the sense that they will catch you somewhere and then if you're not wearing helmet, fine you. Right? But this is more preventive in the sense that once you step out of your home, you're compulsorily going to have to carry a helmet, at least carry a helmet to get basic supplies of fuel, right? So it makes you carry a helmet, and then if you're carrying a helmet outside your home, you might as well wear it.
I'll tell you, there are a lot of people whose helmets are on the mirror, on their rearview mirror, and they're not actually wearing it even if they're carrying it. So Mantra Barua, obviously road safety in India is not what it should be. We're only now pushing seat belts. The fact that safety on motorcycles, and we're not even talking about highway speeds here, we're talking about within our city, Mumbai is the only city that doesn't have compulsory helmets for pillion riders. It's compulsory everywhere else. And even then, it's not really enforced like it's enforced in other cities. Where are we going wrong? And is this the solution according to you?
Well, Faye, to begin with, first let's talk about this rule. The intent is correct, but also let's look at how grim the overall situation is. India, as you may be aware, leads the pack of countries and unfortunately leads the pack in terms of the number of accidents every year.
Yes.
So no less than 146,000 people die. These are official figures. 500,000 accidents took place in 2015.
We're going to put those numbers on the screen because my team has those numbers and I want our audience to actually understand what Sumantra is saying here. These are the number of people who die because they're not wearing helmets. It's as simple as that. It boils down to something like this.
So 146,000 people died in 2015. So now if you calculate the loss, socio-economic losses, because many of them would be sole bread earners of the family. And therefore, so a life lost, whether it's 146,000 or one person, a life is important. And the number of people injured is thrice that number, okay? And we were hoping that with new technology coming in vehicles, that the number of road fatalities will drop in 2015, but unfortunately it rose over 2014. And India being a signatory to the Brazil Declaration, which aims to halve the number of accidents and road fatalities in the world by 2020, India has to take the lead in this.
Right.
So that is a larger picture. And this, I think the intent is correct.
Sumantra, I want our audience to look at the screen one more time. Put that back. I'm going to ask our producers to put that back. The number of people dying on two-wheelers or accidents on two-wheelers vis-a-vis any other form of transport is going to pop up on your screen, and you'll realize there are more people getting hurt on two-wheelers than any other kind of transport.
Well,
the numbers
young
are
generation.
Yes.
More young generation, young people.
These numbers are not to be argued with. You were not arguing whether or not a helmet should be worn.
So
Sumantra,
it's ridiculous that we are still today.
We're still having this debate.
We are talking about wearing helmets. I mean, next year onwards, not 2018, 2017, 2018 onwards, we'll have ABS anti-lock brakes which will be made mandatory. And we are talking about electronic fuel injection, new age technologies. And here we are stuck with wearing helmets. So it's really ridiculous. I think instead of adding new laws or regulations, first we should put the house in order in terms of enforcement of the existing laws. Let's say if the rule was enforced.
As someone who's been, I know, studying this industry and studying this market so closely for so long, how would you enforce it if you had to?
See, in India, I think two things work very well, given our mindset: penalties and incentive. So either you incentivize or you penalize. Let's say, talking about this, let's say again, fuel pump, and Mr. Shinde's, I think, fear is very valid. Valid because a petrol pump, unlike many other businesses, is a very vulnerable target. Okay, because of the inflammable content and everything it has. So all it takes is a matchstick by some antisocial to be lit, and there you are. But the thing is, how about positioning traffic personnel near every...
Do we have enough traffic personnel? In fact, I will tell our audience that we will have the Commissioner of the Traffic Police join us on the phone in a little while to join this conversation. But there are a couple of very good suggestions. So Sumantra, they're saying that put a traffic policeman at the petrol station. So that person is not arguing with the salesperson or with the employee of the petrol station. He's arguing with the traffic police. And the police have a certain authority.
Or Faye, I would also suggest, how about randomly incentivizing road users, both four-wheelers and two-wheelers, more two-wheelers, because that's we are discussing the
incentivizing them.
So incentivize, randomly catch them in a signal. Someone who is found wearing a helmet with all papers in place and all. Say, I think there was, if I don't recall, that there was one such example in a city where they were given a voucher of 1,500 rupees or 500 rupees, something like that. And so what I mean to say, incentivize or penalize.
Incentive is great. Actually, Abdul Bag, I have a suggestion for you. In some countries in the world, and we've done this research, there is actually a link between your insurance policy and how many spots you have on your license. If you are caught, for example, riding without a helmet and you're causing a certain amount of risk, that should go onto your license. That should automatically increase the premium on your insurance policy or cancel your insurance policy altogether. And if it's done on the system, you cannot buy an insurance policy from any company. They will turn around and say you are a high risk person, you are riding without a helmet, we're not going to insure you. You can't ride a bike without an insurance. You shouldn't ride a bike without an insurance, at least. Is that a suggestion possibly that we can take to the government?
There are so many good suggestions which will cope up during the process and during the discussions. And today our Honorable Chief Minister has declared in the Vidhan Sabha that all such suggestions are welcome and he will in totality see all these suggestions.
But what happens in the meantime on the 1st of August?
Beg your pardon?
So the 1st of August
this
is
will be
next week.
implemented. This is a government decision.
It will be implemented.
See, try to understand, in engineering, whenever you are designing any equipment or any process, there are 4 major things to be noted and it will go on their priorities. First is safety. Another thing is ergonomy for the human body. Third is economy, and fourth is aesthetic aspects. So there cannot be any compromise on safety of human being. Okay. So this particular matter cannot be discussed with any other things because it is directly related with human safety. Human safety is important. The cost of the helmet, whether it is good or bad, I can tell you that when the government has started making it compulsory to use the seat belts also, there were a lot of noise and people said that it is uncomfortable and all these things. But now I can vouch for that at least 80% of the people are using this seat belt. Now the technology has gone one step further. If you are not using your seat belt, then the air cushions will not get operated. Then there will be always a beep. So you can do all such things. If you are not using the seat belt, then the motor vehicle will not start. All such technologies are going to come. It is going to take certain times because it also costs. So we have to see the economy also and
so
the
in the
technology
meantime,
also.
we are implementing the rule on the 1st of August. I have one more suggestion for the panel and I'm going to take this suggestion to Ravi Shinde. Ravi Shinde,
can I talk about the engineering aspect? Can I?
Okay, Ravi Shinde, I have one suggestion for you which we should take to the government.
To talk about the engineering aspect.
Okay, go ahead.
That is, we talked about the aesthetics, we talked about the engineering. I myself an automobile engineer, and tell me, the original manufacturers who are manufacturing motorcycles and scooters, have they made any arrangement to stock or keep in safety 2 helmets at a go? Tell me, we don't have that engineering what the gentleman is talking about. Where the gentleman is going to carry 2 helmets in his hand, go about shopping and go about his daily routine.
No, but this is a fair point. Sumanta, you study vehicles. It's a fair point.
See, it's a fair point, but if you look at scooters, for example, nowadays the luggage bay is spacious enough. But at the same time, technology can also play a role. I mean, we received a kind of case study wherein an innovator developed a technology wherein unless you clip your helmet, the bike will not start. This is based on sensors. So technology and enforcement, these two will play a key role as India moves forward. Because as I said, if India, the onus is more on India to take more, come up with more regulations as well as ensure that the enforcement is to a very good degree of existing rules to ensure that the road fatalities drop, and hopefully in 2016 the number would be less than what we saw.
Sumanta, would you say that the numbers are so drastic right now that we need to take drastic measures?
Absolutely. I mean, to say that it's high time is an understatement. Actually, we should have acted on this maybe at least 5 years ago, if not earlier. So, but I mean, we're talking about the current government talking about building roads at a rapid pace, 30 kilometers per day, maybe in a couple of years, and that too of wherein the average speeds will go up. So imagine the risk factor at the rate at which it will go up is one shudders at the thought of the kind of the kind of dangers that we are
not prepared for, and Indians are not used to traveling at speeds like that. We don't have drivers who are used to those speeds.
Absolutely.
A lot of our cars are not used to those
Unless
speeds.
the mindset changes, of course. I mean, today it's good to see that majority of the people on car users wear seat belts, but it's also but at the same time you also notice that the people at the rear do not wear seat belts.
So I mean, this is fundamentally a problem, right? Right now, even in our cars, people sitting in the back seat are not wearing seat belts. People riding pillion on motorcycles are not wearing seat belts. And the thing that upsets me personally are children on motorcycles who are not wearing helmets.
And they should not be there in the first place.
They shouldn't be there in the first place.
Yeah.
I mean, the rest of the world, we are at a point right now where a child cannot travel unless the child is in a special seat in the back of the car.
Perfect.
And here on India, we have them sitting on petrol tanks in front on bikes, where none of it makes sense. Nitin Shukla is on the phone line from Nasik, and I want to invite our viewers to pick up the phone and call us, because this is something that affects all of us. Road safety. I mean, you could think that you're a brilliant rider or a driver, but somebody else could make a bad decision that could cost you your life. It's up to you to be as safe as possible. Nitin Shukla, go ahead.
Yes, I have 3 points.
Yes.
Helmet should be made compulsory, but it should be implemented in phased manner. Because currently there are a large number of two-wheelers in India. Like Nasik, we have 10 lakh two-wheelers, 1 million. So how can they supply this kind of huge volume of helmets within 3 or 4 days? So
Okay, hang on, Nitin, let's take it one point at a time. Helmets are already compulsory.
Compulsory, yeah.
They've been compulsory, I think, for at least 10 years. And I'm sure that there is enough supply. I mean, if your problem is there aren't enough helmets available in the market, I'm sure there are enough helmets available in the market. The price might go up a little bit if everybody went out and bought one yesterday. But that's not something I'm personally uncomfortable with. Abdul Baq, I don't understand phased manner. We're talking about safety of heads. How should we phase this in?
See, my point is that don't wait for the death to knock your own door. What is happening at neighbor's door, you should treat that disease as if your own door. Sometime my son, who is only 27 years old, who is using a motorbike, what will happen if he die? We have to be very sensitive on this particular issue. We have to think on the 4th or 5th dimension. It is our duty to educate the youngsters. It is our duty to provide them the helmets if required. If any poor person who has no money to purchase the helmet, please approach me, I will definitely give him. But we have to give it to them. Now there are a lot of things going on that at the petrol pump at left hand side somebody will stand, he will give the helmet for 1 rupee and you return it back and you take it. So these are all jokes. Come out of it. We have to shoulder the responsibility as a responsible citizen of this particular country and responsible partners for this particular country. We have to shoulder our responsibility. Government can only enforce the law. Now, as far as the police is concerned, what is the total?
Yeah,
what is the total population and what is the total population of police? It is not possible to depute police at every petrol pump. We have to become ourselves police.
Nitin, respond. You have to, of course, self-regulate, and if there is a problem with supply of helmets, or if there is a problem with the cost of helmets, Mr. Wagh is saying he will take it personally to the government of Maharashtra and we will find a solution. But go ahead, what was your other point?
Yes, secondly is the first thing is it is a responsibility of RTO to implement these laws, and RTO has failed miserably in last many years to implement this. What we are expecting is like I am going to a chocolate seller and asking, my chocolate seller is asking me to show the homework first before giving a chocolate. So I personally feel that they should enforce the law, but there has to be more accountability lies with the government agencies than the private seller or private businessman. And my bottom line is helmet is very much necessary, and we should encourage and educate people to do it and enforce it whenever necessary. But doing it in a one stroke is not possible in the country like India, where there is a huge population of two-wheelers on the road currently, and people are not at all aware of any of the safe driving practices. So we have to make a safe-wise and phased manner implementation of this kind of decisions.
He asks, should petrol pumps be forced to enforce the no helmet, no petrol rule? Will the no helmet, no petrol rule encourage bikers to wear their helmets all the time? Join us on Twitter, hashtag no helmet, no petrol. Remember, in Maharashtra, this rule comes into force on the 1st of August. If you don't wear a helmet, you will not be sold any petrol. You'll have to stay off the roads. That's the argument that the Maharashtra government is making. Petrol pump owners say, you're just going to ruin our business. It's not our job to enforce that rule. It's the police's job. Roland is on the phone line from Mumbai. Roland, go ahead. Roland, can you hear me?
Yes. Yeah, I can hear you.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, with regards to the no helmet, no petrol rule, what is the safety for the person who is giving the petrol? There is a risk that he could be hit by some people, some youngsters or some bikers. So there is no protection for the person who's putting the petrol. Secondly, if you're... Hello?
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Secondly, we are making so much fuss about forcing people we don't know to put an helmet to save their lives. Just cancel the insurance like you said earlier. Any insurance on their life or medical. And if somebody else hits them and it is not that person's fault and the person is not wearing a helmet, just cancel the insurance. Why trouble lawmakers and make such a big fuss? Just come from another country. I've been out for so many years. And where helmet is never a problem. It's the ethics of personal life to wear a helmet to save your own life. But this thing about not giving petrol is very dangerous for the poor man who's filling petrol. Many are going to get across the place. There's so much violence.
Right. Okay. So we have to be responsible. Subhajit is also on the phone line from Bangalore. Subhajit, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. See, ma'am, whatever you're saying that no helmet, no petrol, I'm supporting for that because see, whatever the petrol pump where I'm going for petrol, sometimes I'm not wearing the helmet. They suddenly give the helmet. But the rules is coming to we should be wear helmet because it's safety for us. If the petrol pump is getting a duty to save the people, so we have to wear the petrol and we will give the petrol. It is good. I think it is very good for public and government.
All right, it's good for public. It's good for it's good for the government, of course. Ravi Shinde disagrees. He's the one who's going to have to start implementing this starting the 1st of August. Ravi Shinde, maybe also make a suggestion to the government that people who show up without helmets, instead of denying them petrol, we just charge them 5 rupees more per litre, 10 rupees more per litre. Everyone's happy. You're happy. The government is happy. It's a supply chain at the end of the day.
I don't think it's the correct thing to do.
Okay.
Really, if you see the first chapter of this whole thing, that we had agreed, let us do it as a social responsibility, we owe it to the society. But then there is a practicality angle, like if the policeman who asked our help and the Joint CP promised that he has the manpower, he has the traffic wardens, he has the NGOs in place where he can put at all 223 petrol pumps, and in the first 15 days an awareness campaign where we are going to go full steam ahead with the banners and posters and hoardings which are already in place in Mumbai. Let us do that education. Let us not have a knee-jerk reaction and put a sword on our head that if you don't do it, I am going to be challan. I have extended my right hand to you. Don't handcuff me. That is my plea.
All right.
My simple question is that I think Mr. Ravi Shinde, he is on the point and he is only bothered about the safety of the petrol pump and safety of the operators. I think that is the only hitch. Otherwise, I think he has agreed.
Which is a fair point. I think we've all agreed
now,
that that's a fair point.
Now, what I'm saying, as a social responsibility, for first 15 days, even if you keep 4 security guards, which is costing 500 rupees per day for in the night, you are going to spend around 2,000 rupees. For 15 days, you are going to spend 30,000 rupees. You are earning every day not less than 5 lakh rupees every day you are earning. Why you are bothered about 20,000-30,000 rupees? You do it for the social security, do it for the new generation, do it for the young generation, do it for educating of the people, and at the same time let us have some employment for unemployed youth to have an opportunity to work in your petrol pump.
Okay, employ unemployed youth in the petrol pump. So basically we're still talking about petrol pump employees here. And we're not talking about stationing policemen at every petrol pump. Ravi Shinde, is that not possible? Is that a suggestion that you take on? Hire more people. That's the solution Mr. Abdul Wahab is offering you.
Madam, the person who is employed at a petrol pump, be it a petrol pump attendant or be it a security guard, he does not have that statutory power which a simple policeman has. Have you seen any man beating up a policeman?
Fair enough. Ravi Shinde, I'm going to interrupt you for a second. I'm sorry, I'm going to interrupt you for a second. Ravi Shinde, we have Sunil Paraskar. He's the Additional Commissioner Traffic of Mumbai who joins us on the phone line right now. Mr. Paraskar, thank you for joining us. Good evening. It's a pleasure to have you on the show. My question, and we're talking about the no helmet, no petrol rule. We have the Association of Petrol Pump Owners saying that they run a risk of violence from angry customers, that given the flammability of their product, that there is a much larger risk here, that there should be a police person stationed at every petrol station to enforce this rule. It cannot be the petrol pump's responsibility. What's your response to that? How will this be enforced from the 1st of August onwards?
Is it Amita?
This is Faye D'Souza with Magic Bricks now. Go ahead.
I had a word with Amita this evening, and I'm happy to see Mr. Ravi Shinde also being there.
Yes.
We actually had a meeting with all the Petrol Pump Owners Association also, in which Mr. Ravi Shinde, a good friend of mine, was also there. And we have also taken care that we'll be protecting all these petrol pumps with adequate policemen. There will be at least 2 policemen on every petrol pump in Mumbai city, where I'm really concerned with, and my joint CP traffic, Mr. Bharambe, is concerned with. We will ensure that we'll provide all what is required to implement the law.
All right. So 2 policemen at every petrol station. Mr. Ravi Shinde, you've heard it straight from the police here, who say that they're good friends of yours. Does that solve the problem? Can we now enforce the rule on the 1st of August? Will you roll back the strike that you called?
Is that a question to Ravi Shinde? Or
Well,
it's a question to Ravi Shinde,
the
Mr.
GR,
Bhaskar.
which has come on the top of our head. Yeah. The government should roll back the GR, which promises to prosecute us, and I'm absolutely on the same page with Sunil Paraskar. And not only is a good friend, but he's a good advisor. And we have gone to him with a problem, and that is the reason we came to an understanding that there has to be a law or a power of law available at the petrol pump for it to be enforced.
But Mr. Shinde, now there is a power of law. Mr. Paraskar has told us that there will be 2 policemen at every petrol station. So that should solve the problem.
In addition, I would like to say something more.
I welcome it.
All right, Mr. Paraskar, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's in addition, we are also ensuring that we'll have some kind of a CCTV coverage, so that any miscreant who wants to take law into his hands will be also dealt with firmly. As long as the government is implementing its law, the police will stand by it 100%. And we will definitely support the petrol pump owners to the best we can. In fact, I'm very happy to say that all petrol pump owners who had come to meet us that day have really willingly agreed to cooperate with us with a desire to save the lives of a lot of people. We've been seeing that a lot of people have been dying because of accidents, and we as policemen are also concerned with this loss of life unnecessarily. What we're looking at it is to save the life of people. There's no problem in people wearing a helmet when they can do so many other things. It's a very small thing, and we must show a respect towards the law and what the government dictates.
Mr. Paraskar, I want to compliment you on being so positive and so forthcoming. We also, on this channel, want to acknowledge that the traffic police of Mumbai are extremely hardworking, come rain or sunshine.
True.
They're always there to help us. I acknowledge that on national TV, that we have the hardest working traffic police force in this in the country here in Mumbai.
And the best.
Mr. Shinde, you have everything you asked for. There will be police officers at every petrol station. There will be CCTV camera. You have right now the Additional Commissioner Traffic Police vouching his support to all petrol pump owners starting the 1st of August. Will you now roll back your strike call?
I salute the traffic police department for their initiative, for the support to the petrol pump owners. They don't not only understand our problem that we are sitting on a 1 lakh litre of petrol and diesel, and small spark or small incident can be devastating. In lieu of that, the presence of policemen is welcome, and we are looking forward to rollback of this GR to start rolling our initiative in Mumbai.
You're not answering my question. You're not answering my question. You're not answering my question. My question was, will you roll back your strike call? You said on this show that on the 1st of August, you will stop buying petrol, and then eventually all petrol pumps will run out of petrol. That's obviously in protest to the GR. Now, all of your needs have been met. Why do you still want the GR to be rolled back?
Madam, GR states very clearly in black and white that if you give petrol to a helmetless rider, I am going to prosecute you.
That's
you
true.
can't keep a sword
That's
on my
true.
head.
It should be fair at this point. So don't give petrol to a helmetless
Don't give.
So the enforcement of the
Don't give. There are policemen. If you want volunteers on all your 223 petrol pumps, my party volunteers will stand to strengthen your hand.
Mr. Shinde, I don't understand.
Why you want
what
to
is
roll
your
back the
problem
GR?
still?
I want policemen. I want
But
Policemen
we've just
are there.
given you
Mr.
policemen.
Parasnis has said
Mr.
that.
Paraskar has just told you 2 policemen per petrol station.
Perfect.
So you have policemen, you have safety, you have CCTV cameras. What is your problem still with the GR? Why won't you roll back your strike call?
That's the whole initiative, was the That's what I'm saying. Roll back the GR. See, on one hand, you cannot have this GR in this present form and still ask me that yes, policemen are there, but policemen are there from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m.
No, he never said that.
He didn't give us the time. Mr. Paraskar is still on the phone line. Mr. Paraskar, respond to this. We still getting
I
a
would
call.
certainly like to respond to this.
Please, sir, go
I'm
ahead.
very sure that Maharashtra Police, Mumbai Police, and the whole police leadership will definitely do everything that is possible to see that nothing wrong is done to any of the petrol pump owners, whether day or night. I'm confident that Maharashtra Police and Mumbai Police has all that police force which we can use to utilize the government's, see that the government's rule is obeyed by people. Secondly, I know, though there's some resistance now, very soon everyone from the public also will be appreciating this fact because we are trying to do this only to save the lives of people. It is not that policemen want to save their own life. It is for the young daughters, school children, boys, girls, somebody's wife who is a pillion rider, somebody's husband who is driving a motorbike and he meets with an unfortunate incident. We are trying to save their lives. It is not for 100 rupees fine that we are going to do something. And I definitely will appreciate that all the petrol owners,
can I ask
as
you?
well as you, just a moment, please, will definitely, they are citizens of this country. They are respectable citizens of the country and they would definitely do something best to see that the law is implemented properly. It is their responsibility as a citizen and I'm sure that they will do it. Yeah, please now.
Mr. Shinde, go ahead. I still don't see why you might have any problem with this GR. Now everything in good faith is being looked after.
Okay. Okay, we have missing one point that Mr. Paraskar, that he has agreed that at a Bombay 223 petrol pumps, policemen will be stationed. The GR doesn't talk about only Mumbai. It talks about 4,500 petrol pumps across Maharashtra. Are you going to provide policemen at every petrol pump 24 hours a day, Mr. Paraskar?
I'm talking about Mumbai. I can talk about only about Mumbai. And I was there with you all for a meeting when we had about Mumbai. I'm sure if you all represent to the government would think about it, definitely. But just going on a strike, I don't think it is the right thing to, in a right spirit, to implement the law. You have all the doors open to approach the government, request and see what best can be done.
Mr. Shinde, we've heard the additional commissioner speak. He has offered all the support possible. Now, if you don't roll back your strike, it's obvious that the strike is about loss of business and not about safety anymore because every safety concern has been looked after. At least in Mumbai, you cannot hold the citizens to ransom and say that we will run out of petrol in the city because you're uncomfortable. We have received every demand that you made from the traffic police. Mr. Sunil Paraskar has said everything that you wanted him to say. You are still holding us to ransom. This is about loss of business. Accept that it is about loss of business.
You're still missing the point, ma'am. Are we talking about only Mumbai or Maharashtra where the entire GR is implemented?
Okay, so tell me this. If we are talking, for argument's sake, let's say we are only talking about Mumbai because Additional Commissioner Paraskar can only talk about Mumbai. That is his jurisdiction. He is making a commitment to you. Will you tell me that in Mumbai at least you will not strike?
Correct.
So will you roll back your call in Mumbai?
Correct, but I should not be prosecuted for giving a petrol to...
How will anybody enforce
How you can say that? How, Mr. Shinde, you can say that the government should not prosecute you for the adulteration of diesel and petrol also you can be prosecuted. So can you, while signing the contract with HPCL and BPCL, are you saying that I will not accept the contract because I will be prosecuted for the adulteration in diesel and this thing? No, this is not ethical. See, I agree to certain extent about your safety. And if you are really bothered about your safety, you give all the petrol pumps on lease to the people who are brave in Mumbai.
No,
they are ready to run your petrol
I just have
pumps.
one more question.
This
Mr. Sunil Paraskar, all petrol stations,
those people only paid the money to you. They are instrumental in making you rich. Now you don't take them for ransom. Now how about, one more point. How about the four-wheeler people?
We are
talking about two-wheeler people. How about the four-wheeler people? What mistake they have done? I have got a four-wheeler. Now I am not going to get a diesel and petrol. What is going to happen with ambulance? What is going to happen with hearse? What is going to happen with
that's what
your military and police vehicles? What is going to happen with BST? What is going to happen with your firefighting equipment?
Tell you,
just because you have got all 223 petrol pumps, don't take Mumbaikars for ride.
Let's one second. Let me get Sunil Paraskar to respond to this.
Yeah, please.
The fact that Mr. Shinde is still demanding that the GR be rolled back after everything you have offered him, saying that he should not be prosecuted. How will this rule be enforced if it does not say that?
I made it very clear that the government's doors are definitely open to all these people. They have to go make a representation to the government, convince their point, and government will definitely find a good solution on this.
That's true.
See, I can't speak on behalf of government, but as a policeman from this city, I can definitely assure that we will take all those precautions best possible so that no law and order situation comes up.
My government has declared, my chief minister has declared in assembly today that he is ready to consider all suggestions, whatever may be the nature. He is ready to consider it. He will talk, but there is no question of rolling back our decisions, our GR. But we are open because the petrol pump owners and operators are also part of our society. They are also the Mumbaikars, and we are sure all the petrol pump owners will cooperate with the government to help the youngsters from dying on the road.
Mr. Shinde, I don't think your strike call holds any water anymore.
Can I make one point?
Okay, make one point. I want closing remarks from all of our guests. Go on.
Can I make one point?
Make a point.
That when you put a cart before the horse, when this GR was supposed to come, wasn't it a government responsibility to call the stakeholder? This is going in our mind and this is going to come as a law. What do you have to say? So don't you think a person whose law is to be enforced has to have any say into the scheme of things?
But hasn't the additional commissioner, Sunil Paraskar, just said that he had repeated meetings with you and your union?
But nowhere there was any mention of prosecution of a petrol pump.
That goes without saying. If you are not going as per the duty, as per the government,
prosecution
there has to be a prosecution. There has to be
enforced, Mr. Shinde.
Yeah, if you find guilty, you cannot be left alone. If you find guilty, you have to pay for that. It goes without saying.
Okay,
it is
Mr.
very
Shinde,
clear.
answer me this question. Obviously, all petrol stations are supposed to check whether or not, like Sumantra Barua pointed out, whether or not someone has a PUC. How often do you check? Somebody told us that he's been riding a bike for the last 20 years. Nobody has checked. How often in your petrol station does anybody ask for the PUC certificate?
Not only PUC, suppose if you're driving a CNG vehicle, you need to have that CNG kit registration plate stuck to your engine compartment. Unless you have that, you will not
receive fuel.
CNG.
If you don't have a PUC certificate, you will not receive fuel. None of that is being checked.
There is a rule that you cannot give petrol or diesel in can. But I can see, and I can, if you want, I will go to any pumping station and carry 15 liters of petrol.
Unless the GR includes a prosecution, it will not be enforced in its true spirit.
Can I put some things into order? Can I put one thing into order? The gentleman said that petrol cannot be given in can. He is absolutely wrong. In the Petroleum Act, there is a provision to give 1 liter petrol in a designated can to a motorist who is stuck on the road. But petrol pumps fear that the people who do not know the law and police also do not know the law and they get prosecuted. A person who is held up on the road has to push his vehicle to a petrol pump in spite of his authority to go to a petrol pump and ask for 1 liter of petrol, which the pump is supposed to give. But today it is not being given because Gundaism is playing a role into this.
All right,
Please roll back my statement. I said even 15 liter. I have never said 1 liter. I know the law. I said 15 liter. If I want, I can get 15 liter diesel from petrol pump from Mumbai.
I want to bring in Sunil Paraskar here. Mr. Paraskar, there is of course a rule that nobody should be sold fuel if they don't have a PUC certificate. Like Sumantra Barua was telling us, there has to be a sticker for all CNG cars. How? And you work with enforcement on a daily basis. Is that being enforced at petrol pumps right now? Are they asking for PUC?
Honestly, Mrs. D'Souza, I'm sure that I own a CNG car, a Santro car, and whenever I went to fill up CNG into my car, the plate was always checked. In fact, Despite telling that I'm a police officer, I was refused twice, thrice, sir, that we cannot give you CNG because you don't have the plate. I must be very honest and tell that, yes, they are doing their job perfectly, very well, as long as what I have experienced.
Okay, so in that case, is the point of prosecution of petrol pumps necessary in this GR? If you believe that in good faith that the GR will be enforced without prosecution, is the prosecution necessary then in that case? Do you think it will be enforced if it does not include prosecution?
On this, I would only say that whatever the government directs, the police or any other government agency, they have to follow it as a law. There's no other question that we'll have our own discretion to say no, whether we'll prosecute or will not prosecute. The government says it has to be done. That's what
the government says.
That's what, in fact, I want to tell all the petrol pump owners as well as citizens that please obey the law. I know all the petrol pump owners also appreciate this, that we should not allow lives to be, wasted on life like this on roads. Poor people going home and suddenly die with a small accident and nobody is there to look after the family later on. I'm very sure the petrol pump owners also have supported us when we have done this. They also agree that they must do their best to implement the law. It's not only about the helmet or something, but in general, they want that all the law must be obeyed by people, everyone. That's how the country would progress.
All right, we've run out of time on this show, but this is a very, very good point. Without helmets, lives are lost. Lives lost in accidents that could have been avoided. It's completely avoidable. The kind of life loss we have every day, and we all need to do our part. People who are riding motorcycles, people who are in cars, encourage others, and of course, petrol stations. I appeal to you, Mr. Shinde, that your union will reconsider the call and approach the government to reconsider the GR. If you have a problem with the prosecution, like Mr. Pariskar has said, start a conversation. Do not hold the city to ransom. I appeal to you and to all of the members of your union. I want to go back to our poll that we started this show with. Will the no helmet, no petrol rule encourage bikers to wear helmets? Let's take a look at how our viewers have voted on Twitter. 80% of those who voted said yes, bring in the rule and people will start to wear helmets. If this is how the average viewer, the average person on the street feels that the rule will actually help, then we all need to put our shoulders to that wheel and make sure that it is implemented come the 1st of August in its truest sense and in its purest spirit. I want to thank, of course, the Additional Commissioner of Traffic Police for joining us on the show. Mr. Pariskar, I appreciate your time and the hard work that your team is doing in the city of Mumbai. I thank all of our panelists for joining us on the show. The conversation continues on the 1st of August. We'll be tracking this story very carefully to find out whether or not we will actually run out of fuel in the city of Mumbai. Thanks for watching.
You can watch live TV on our website mpnow.in. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/magicbricksnow. And don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at magicbricksnow. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/magicbricksnow.